Hi there, everybody. Welcome to Faith, Culture, Politics in Australia with Mark. And coming to you today with a bit of an emotive issue. And so I'm just going to quickly read something out prepared in regards to events that have happened and the topic I'm going to be talking about, which is, as the title says, Porepunkah and the media messaging. So my heartfelt condolences go out to the families of the police officers killed and injured, as well as the wider policing community who are mourning the loss of those who are tragically killed. As a pacifist and a humanitarian, I do not support violence or murder and condemn comments in social media glorifying the actions of this individual. This update regarding the shooting in Porepunkah is focused on media reporting and the wider narrative about those having a critical view of Australia's government and bureaucracy. So that is going to be the focus. It's not going to be talking about the actions or the response of policing, what has going to happen, what's transpire in the coming days or whatever. It's not to say that the actions of this individual person should be glorified or they should be condemned. And look, hopefully we see a resolution to this very soon. Whichever way it plays out, it may not end peacefully. So it is an emotive subject, and but I want the focus on this to be about the messaging that has come about since this. So look, we'll get started. I'll do a bit of an overview of where we're at. With this, I'll just read. This is from updates from The Age, one of the media outlets obviously reporting on this. As of this going to air, this is a bit of a summary. Desi Freeman, 56, remains on the run after allegedly shooting dead two police officers, a 59-year-old detective and a 35-year-old senior constable at a rural property in Porepunkah, about 300 kilometres northeast of Melbourne on Tuesday morning. Two officers are yet to be named, but believe they are, but I'm not going to share that. While a third officer is recovering in Melbourne's Alfred Hospital after undergoing surgery. Freeman fled into the dense bushland following the alleged shooting, and police have now established a no-fly zone over the area as they continue to look for him. The message to residents is to remain indoors and avoid unnecessary travel. So I highlighted this because initial media reports were, so despite earlier reports of a hostage situation, Victoria Police Chief Commissioner Mike Bush gave an update at 8:30 a.m. saying this was not the case. Freeman's partner and children went to a police station on Tuesday night and have been interviewed. Police say that Freeman is an experienced bushman and concede that he knows the area better than they do. He is believed to be armed with multiple powerful guns after officers found no firearms at the property after the shooting. While Victoria Police are not ruling out that he may have fled interstate, New South Wales Police say there is no evidence he has crossed the border north, and that's current update as of this stream with me. So moving along, I just wanted to give a bit of an overview. So today, a current affair ran a bit of a story on the Freeman family about 6 years ago, and just wanted to play a short bit of that for you now.
She's renowned for her talent and kindness and peaceful nature.
Yeah, well, Marley and her family are all very kind, very beautiful people, and it's amazing that anybody's treated like that.
Marley teaches music to David Hogg's grandchildren. He's lived here all his life and says he's never seen anything like this.
I felt angry, and I felt really sad that this has come to our town.
It was a shock to see it. It's just appalling behaviour, and I don't think a community or anyone should put up with that.
Mary Tomeno says locals call Marley the mother of Myrtleford.
She's just a lovely soul, a lovely person. I mean, she was saying, what have we done to you? Which is a fair enough question.
From the mother of Myrtleford to the father of filth. From a motorbike to a tractor, the indecency continues. Oh, and here.
So that was just a little bit of a story that they run about 6 years ago in regards to bullying and so forth of them. And I do pray for Marley and their kids as well, because they're obviously caught up in this as so many other families. So my thoughts and prayers go out to every single person that's involved in this and has to try and deal with what's happened here as well. So. But moving on with the presentation, and obviously also since 2019, Desi Freeman got known through the COVID period, and obviously behaviours escalated since then. Was a bit more known. I'm just going to play this other quick clip from that little segment, which is shared by Aaron Lilydale, watching Aaron Lilydale on X. Just going to play that for you now as well.
Several hundred people gathered in a park beside the courthouse to support the treason charge against the Premier. Before the case got underway, police tackled one protester to the ground.
They're going to make some get up on me, mate, because I stood up to them.
Police marched Desi Freeman to the police station as crowds of supporters swarmed around him.
Defend me, guys. We outnumber these scum. We have a right of self-defense against these terrorist criminals. Why is he under arrest? Why? Everyone knows that these scumbags are butthurt because they're obsessed with power.
We're just supporting people that are standing up for massive breaches of allegiance.
So that was only 2 years after that current affair documentary, and obviously he's been known to police for quite some time, apparently. So, got scouring a little bit of social media, a little bit come from Crystal Mitchell, who's obviously used to be part of Vic Pole, and so reading a couple of her comments there is that Vic Pole says thoughts and prayers. Meanwhile, Intel suggests critical incident response team request was denied when police said the guy was a nutter, and so less equipped members attended instead. And CRT members want to go. It's denied by bosses, and I bet you 100% a big part is that CIRT is short-staffed and needed for these damn protests in the city every weekend. Someone else posted on another thread that a level 2 search warrant was requested and denied. If that is true, the paper trail on that will be key in the upcoming request. So look, that was just a bit of commentary around why those police officers went out. Obviously, there's quite a few that went out, and not the critical incident response team. But looking at media, and this is again, I guess what I'm sort of focusing on here in this little story is this is obviously what's come out of The Age. Dangerous conspiracy theories translate into real-world violence. The Brisbane Times replicates that. Dangerous conspiracy theories translate into real-world violence. And alleged Porepunkah shooter Desi Freeman is a self-proclaimed sovereign citizen. What does he believe? Fueled by pandemic-era lockdowns and online disinformation. And look, this is why I'm a little bit focusing on this story, because again, I went through the pandemic like so many other people, and I, at the time, through my own research and discernment, felt it was best for me not to receive the injections at the time, and was terminated for that decision from my role as well. And I'm challenging very much the overreach of governments all around our country in regards to that period of time. And certainly I do have a lot less trust for bureaucrats and politicians who've weaponized law enforcement, I believe, during that time. So just wanted to kind of reiterate, sort of set the scene as well in regards to this ongoing messaging about conspiracy theories and this disinformation, and it's all the censorship that's coming as a result of that. So I just wanted to have a little bit of an unpick here around sovereign citizen, because not everybody that is critical of government or believe in their own individual freedoms and sovereignties, or just want to be left alone, as a good friend keeps saying. The term sovereign citizen is widely regarded as an oxymoron because it juxtaposes two inherently contradictory concepts. Sovereign typically refers to an entity or individual with supreme independent authority, free from external control or governance. In contrast, citizen implies membership in a political community or state, which entails obligations, allegiance, and subjection to its laws and authority. You cannot logically be both fully independent sovereign and bound by a governing body, citizen, at the same time. It's akin to saying free slave or independent subject. This view is echoed across legal, academic, and public discussions, with many in the sovereign citizen movement itself rejecting the label as defamatory or nonsensical. So many within the movement, and there's people, so many different groups and thinking around this, but ultimately our media throws everything into, so anybody that's critical of government or wants to be left alone or wants to be a free person, whatever, the media is automatically lumping everybody in the same boat, and this is what I'm pointing and hinting towards, and the focus is on the media in the media reporting and the narrative. But as you know, some of you that have been watching me over in my recent interview I had with Deborah Lee from Global Truth Network, and reporting the story about Trevor's story, Trevor Hold in Queensland, about the fire ant issue, and the ABC News obviously done an article being critical of Southern Cross University for allowing funding for him, and in their reporting they've labelled Southern Cross University under fire for giving research funding to conspiracy theorist Trevor Hold. So here's this narrative again about conspiracy theory from, and as you know, I've shared that documentary, and you make up your own mind whether you think Trevor Hold is such. But let's have a quick listen to what Deborah is saying in regards to the ABC in this regard.
And then for ABC to turn around and say, oh, shame on Southern Cross University for working with a conspiracy theorist. I mean, to me, it's just appalling. It's absolutely appalling. And under fire for giving research. Well, how are they under fire? By whom? I've not heard anyone saying that they're doing the wrong thing. The first I've heard of them being under fire is this article. So as I said, I saw this article. It did make me very upset to see our taxes being used in this way. And I thought, right, I'm going to use my own money and go and get a film crew and go and film Trevor and give him a right of reply, give him an opportunity to tell his side of the story. Because when we have one-sided reporting like this, someone, I feel, has to give the other side. And in this case, I'm the one trying to do that for the people.
So that documentary can be viewed on Global Truth Network, the full documentary about Trevor Hold. So this again talks about just the media, which they've done, and I've been very critical. Obviously, they've done this over the last five odd years through the COVID era, and they've just continually labelled, belittled, othered people who have had a contrary view to government or whatever's been happening. So I believe that we need to continue to call out that messaging. So just moving along. So the Age article here has got sovereign citizens attack mirrors rise in radicalism. So talking about people being radicalized by certain religions and so forth. And after Australia suffered a second extremist attack in a growing pattern of violence. So this is the framing that the Age gives, and I just want to bring context around this. And this is obviously going to highlight a certain religious group, but just for context, I'm going to bring this up and show you this in context in regards to how it mirrors. So they're saying it mirrors, and it's at the same point. But let's have a look at some of that. So they're talking about extremism and terror events here in Australia from 2014. So we're looking at 12 odd years. We have Islamist extremism, Abdul Newman. 1516 Islamist extremism, self-declared allegiance to ISIS. Harun Monis. October 2, Parramatta Farid Kali, Islamist extremism radicalised online. Minto Isas Khan, Islamist extremist, and then Islamist extremist as well there in June of 2017. And then we have more. We've got November 2018, Hassan Khalif Shayali, Islamist extremism, ISIS inspired. 2020, we had the ISIS-influenced Islamist extremist, unnamed 22-year-old male in Brisbane, Queensland. Then December 22, we had the trains, which a lot of people are saying is a similar sort of thing as what's happened here as well, in this case that we're talking about, a Christian fundamentalist and so forth, and that whole sovereign right wing kind of thing. April 2024, we have the unnamed 16-year-old claiming Islamist extremism motivated by perceived insult to the Prophet, which resulted in the stabbing of a church, including the bishop at the time. And then more recently in 2024, 2 men charged, identities withheld, anti-Semitic extremism allegedly directed by Iran's IRGC. So look, there is quite a history, and so look, if two events, which is the Freeman event and the trains event, is mirroring radicalism. I personally believe, as tragic as it was and as horrible, and I'm not condoning, as I said, I do not absolutely condone the actions of what's happened here, and I absolutely believe it's a tragic thing that the police officers lost their lives. But then focusing on the reporting here by our media and how they frame things to put everybody that might be critical of government into the same wagon. So we also know that the ABC Four Corners did a report on the uncovering the anti-government movement brewing across the nation. So this anti-government, so critical, I will reframe it as those that are critical of government, because but they're labeling all of that into the sovereign citizen movement. And they obviously had that expose, which is up on YouTube as well. And I'm just going to play you a really quick clip out of that, just so you can hear a little bit about that. But you obviously can watch that again yourself for those that haven't watched that, about this report from the ABC.
COVID week, one of our first major cases that we had was in a common law court with a full jury, and we heard the evidence as set out. There's no judges or magistrates in there. There's just an adjudicator and the witnesses. Yes, when they're found guilty, they are found guilty of a charge, and they could get a jail sentence or a fine. But once again, we can't impose that at this stage because the police won't recognise our court orders. The only tools we have is psychological.
And you don't have jails.
Sorry, and jails. Well, jails is well there. I'm not going to, I don't think we can lock them up in our back garden somewhere.
So anyway, that was a bit of reporting about the sovereign citizen, and there was only one group. And as I said, there's so many different groups with so many different views, and I've heard from some that they obviously their creed is the sovereign citizen movement. Apparently, is a non-violent creed. So it would be wouldn't be surprised if it comes out and condemn the actions of this if Mr. Freeman was even in effect actually classing himself as a sovereign citizen. So they've done a bit of a report on that. In the Guardian, we had a report how a police search warrant at rural Victorian property ended in a day of tragedy. But I wanted to highlight this a little bit at the bottom here, or through the article. They say that, like many others, Freeman appeared to become radicalised during the pandemic and railed against the restrictions imposed by governments, which were seen as reinforcing his conspiratorial belief. So this is where I come back to when I say that they're looking at labeling everybody that's been critical of the response through COVID and the actions through COVID, and they're linking everybody with those views, with Desi Freeman's views, and this is why I'm pushing back and I'm talking into this a little bit, because I am one of those people that went through that period of time, and as a result of that, I have much less trust for our politicians, our government, our bureaucrats, based on the overreach that was, permitted, enacted on the citizens all around the country, including in our own state of South Australia. So, and a bit of context in regards to people in Victoria. You've got to remember that they were the longest lockdown city in the world. Daniel Andrews ruled that state like a dictator, and even going against, public health orders and so forth. There's so much still to come out of that. But again, I haven't been allowed to have a proper Royal Commission to look into that. So the people in Victoria have suffered immensely through that period of time. And again, do not get me wrong here. I am not condoning the actions of this person based on what I'm just saying now. What I'm saying is that there's, in this country in general, there's still a lot of hurt and a lot of pain as a result of what was enacted during the COVID times. And that's why I'm going to take the opportunity now to also play this little clip for you now as well. And it's important to share it. It's from Topher Fields Battleground, Melbourne. And I think it's important to share this, as it's a few minutes to just go over this little bit, and then I'll catch up back in shortly.
And it wasn't our desire to come back here, but when they started using the anti-terror squad and driving the Bearcat through the streets of Melbourne, labelling people who are simply political opponents of the government, labelling them as terrorists, well, unfortunately, we were left with very little choice but to appeal to our history, to appeal to our ancestors, to appeal to the freedoms that they fought for, that we inherited, and right now we are letting slip away in our generation. And I won't stand for that, neither will all the people here.
It's all okay till it comes to you, when what you believe.
Endless coronavirus restriction measures have taken a heavy toll on each of our lives.
Sense the lies, the more they shame, the more you hide. They say you're all alone, confined to your home, another line to their bone. We found our kind, watching the bullets fly.
Last time I was too scared that I'd get arrested, and this time I thought, fuck them, I don't care. It's not okay. It's not okay. This country is being pummeled.
die. You can take our time, you can smear our name, but you won't take our pride.
Children were caught in the crossfire. This is a crime against humanity when police officers can spray us illegally with pepper spray.
It has been an absolute embarrassment for the state, for the police, that once again, when they promised us thousands were not going to be able to march on these streets, well, they have.
So remember that I'm not condoning the actions of Mr. Freeman. I'm talking about the hurt that's being felt in Victoria and in around the rest of the country in relation to what's happened over the last 5 years and why everyday Australians, mums, dads, family and people, just ordinary Australians, are still looking to go out on the street and march for Australia and against some of the actions taken by politicians and bureaucrats in this nation over the last few years. And the thing I'm pushing back on is the media narrative around a certain amount of individuals that might be gone off the rails and taken things too far, way too far, cannot be condoned. But then lumping everybody that's critical of government overreach in the same boat, I do take offence to that. And so moving on, having a look at some other things here, and just following on from there about Topher Field. So we obviously played Battleground Melbourne. If people haven't seen that, obviously definitely check that out. But I'll just have a look here at this post from Topher. I'm going to read out for you in its entirety. Problem, reaction, solution, or as Saul Alinsky put it, their reaction is our action. Be very aware of how the public reaction is being shaped by media and policymakers. I condemn absolutely the shooting of these police in Victoria, just as I've condemned violence from criminals, from protesters and from police themselves consistently for many years. When you resort to violence, you instantly lose. You lose any moral high ground. You lose public support, and you lose whatever future you may have had, as this shooter is likely to discover the hard way. With that said, we must beware the media and government reaction. They way they're already working overtime to shape the public reaction and to define the villain in the public mind in order to support their chosen solution. Their reaction is our action. The public reaction to this shooting will provide political momentum in the same way that the public reaction to the Port Arthur shooting did, and it's likely to be met with the same opportunistic solution as what John Howard had back then too, with further demonising of law-abiding people, as well as further militarising of the police. I hope this manhunt resolves without any further bloodshed, and I certainly hope that he does not seek to hurt more officers, and also that he doesn't seek to commit suicide by cop. You and I have no influence over any of that, but we can and we must seek to influence the ways in which this tragic shooting will be weaponized by our politicians. And before anyone gets upset at me for trying to politicize the shootings, that's already happened, and that's exactly what I'm cautioning against. And that on his post, he had this picture of dangerous conspiracy theories translate into real world violence, which I showed above earlier. So the other thing I wanted to point out, what I thought, many people thought this was going to come out of that, is exactly this kind of post here, and this is from an ex-post. We've got an active shooter on the run with hostages in Victoria right now. 2 cops dead and 1 injured by an armed sovereign citizen. The Vic government needs to shut down the March for Australia this Sunday the 31st, given the organisers and affiliates are of the same dangerous ilk. And this was my concern. This is what I talk about even with media and other commentators, is this whole associating, lumping everybody in the same boat as everybody else, and knew this was going to happen. And obviously, even now, our own government, as the SBS News reports, un-Australian. So the government criticises the March for Australia rallies amid community fears. So this has all come about, and again, it's very tragic what's happened. But this, you can see how the media and politicians have grabbed hold of these things, and they lump everybody, patriotic people that haven't had criminal offences. I've had some speeding fines in my history as a younger lad, but no criminal record, a family man, and I am critical of government, and I'm critical of many things that's happened. And one of the reasons I'm marching is the ineptitude of government, and the inefficiencies of government, and the response of government without accountability, and yet labelled in with those people, radical people, that have done terrible things to take someone's life, but then they label everybody with the same brush. And this is what happens all the time, and we've got to be pushing back on it as much as possible. So now look, I did, and the reason why I say that is, so I've just recently reported on the Emergency Management Miscellaneous Amendment Bill here in South Australia, 2024, and did an article about that from it was a farmers briefing from the My Places group here in Adelaide, and the major concerns from lots of people about the additional powers that the South Australian government has given themselves. And if you think that this is all hogwash, I'm going to read this quickly for you. South Australians, your freedoms are under threat. On 19th of August, our Parliament passed the Emergency Management Amendment Act 2024 late at night and without public consultation. It gives unelected officials the power to enter your home without a warrant, seize property, force medical procedures, override any SA law, demand your private info, even if it incriminates you. These powers can be activated even when no emergency exists, just a state of alert. And they've made it exempt from freedom of information laws you won't even know when or why it's used. So a request to mail your MPs about this. And if you think it's part of a wider conspiracy theorist, it's actually Graham Goodings on 5AA here in Adelaide has had Sarah Game on to talk about that. And the power grab by the Labor government occurred this week with the passage of the new Emergency Management Miscellaneous Bill, even though I was the only MP who voted against it. So it is a real thing. These are powers that have been enacted. And so the context of that is that the government will continue to pass themselves more and more powers to infringe on the rights of people that just want to be left alone and do their own thing and live their life. But yet the governments all around the country, all around the world, flexing their muscle and powers through legislation after being voted in to further restrict your liberties and freedoms. And, we found out about that here through COVID. A good friend of mine was visited by the police, and I'm just going to play this for you as well quickly, just a bit of context around the overreach and having police sent to you based on the request of members of Parliament, and in this particular case it was the Attorney General of South Australia. So I'm just going to play that quickly for you.
Right, you'll tell me who you are and why you're here.
Yeah, Sergeant Andrew Curtis, Mount Barker Police. Just
Okay.
here for firstly a security audit on your firearms.
No problem.
Security audit check, and then just have a bit of a chat about a couple of other things that have been going on.
Start with the other things.
Start with the other things. Just bear with me for a minute. I need my glasses because I'm blind as a bat without them.
Welcome to my world.
The other thing I'm here for is you've been sending emails, I believe, to politicians.
I often send emails to politicians.
Yeah, a couple of them have come to the attention of police.
Which ones?
I don't have the emails with me, where you reference Nuremberg trials.
Oh yes, I've done that.
You've been to the electoral office of Josh Teague, have you?
Multiple times.
Yeah,
He refuses to meet with me.
Yeah. Most recently, it says he recently threatened to follow Teague wherever he goes and wave the South Australian flag and upside down to display that the state is in distress until Teague meets with him or with you. Yeah.
What's your point?
I haven't got a point. What is happening? These emails, as I said, have come to the attention of police, and it's just drawing attention. I guess in the end, it's drawing attention to you, which you probably don't need, or don't want, or don't appreciate. I don't know.
I don't know.
And that's why I'm here.
I don't know where you're going with this.
I'm not going anywhere with it. What this is, I guess, friendly advice more than anything, to maybe, I don't know, tone down your emails, for instance. Be careful what you write in your emails and how you refer to people, for instance.
Is anything I've written in my emails a criminal offence?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
So what's the point of your visit?
Well, the point of my visit is check your firearms.
Yeah, you've actually linked the two things together.
Because this has come to the attention of police,
yes,
because you're a firearms licensed holder,
yes,
we can at any time go anywhere we like and check people's firearms.
I understand that, but you've indicated to me that you're here to do this because my politician has complained. Is that correct?
I don't know if he's complained or not, to be honest.
Well, that's how you know.
I would assume there's been a complaint put in.
So
okay?
just so as I understand.
As far as the complaint goes, I don't know anything about that. Whether he's actually complained or whether he's spoken to somebody, I don't know.
But is this
But I'm here. I'm here because these emails have come to the attention of police. And I guess they're a little bit worrying when you refer to perhaps Nuremberg trials and that sort of thing.
Do you know what the Nuremberg trials were about?
Yeah, about World War II.
So why would that concern you?
I don't know.
So you don't know what they're about?
No. No.
Okay.
Why would that? No, I don't know what the emails are about.
No. Do you know what the Nuremberg trials were about?
Yeah, World War II trials of Nazis.
Yeah. No, it was the punishment meted out on doctors who committed unauthorised medical experiments on helpless people under coercion.
Right.
Yeah, that's what the Nuremberg trials were about.
Right, yeah.
Yes, so you didn't know that?
No, I didn't know that, but no.
Okay, so I believe what's going on now with respect to COVID enforcement consists of coercion, forcing vulnerable people to take part in medical experiments. And as a specialist doctor, I'm in a position to make that judgment. You smile because you're not, but I am.
I'm not, no.
Well, I am,
I'm
and that's
not
my
an
assessment.
expert in that area. So,
well, trust me, I am.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, so just so I understand the purpose of your visit, you're here to do a firearms check,
Yep.
which is not random. You're actually doing it in context with the fact that I'm in dispute with my local politician, because you've already admitted that to me.
Mm.
That's why you're here.
I guess if you want to come down to the nitty gritty, the bottom line is, like I said, those emails have come to the attention of police.
Yep.
And because you're a licensed firearms holder with a current firearms license and numerous, about 15 odd guns or something.
Yep.
Registered to you.
Is there anything in those emails that indicates I might use firearms inappropriately?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, so I'm confused as to why you're here, but that's fine.
Yeah,
You're allowed
no,
to be here. I
I'm
accept that.
here to check the firearms.
And at the moment, I'm.
You said before, as far as I'm aware, there's been no criminal offence has been committed.
I'm pleased that you've said that on my camera.
So my aim, I guess, is just to let you know that police are aware of these emails.
Yes. I know
and
why they're aware.
And that's it.
So I'm not allowed to have robust discussions with my
say
MP.
that.
Yes, you did by
No, I
being
didn't.
here. Trust
No,
me.
I did.
That's why you're here.
No.
We're both men. We understand why.
Yeah, but that's not what I said. You can take it how you can take that however you like.
Me and the
that's
viewers will take it as
Yeah.
we like. Okay, final thing. So you're here to inspect my firearms,
Mhm.
storage, etc.
Mhm.
Are you here to confiscate them?
Do I need to confiscate them?
How would I know?
No.
Okay.
Probably not.
Okay.
And if you are storing them properly, which
Yes.
I would think you are, because you've got a number of handguns.
So there you go. And that was through COVID period, and it was sent, by the looks of it, from writing letters to MP Josh Teague, who was at the time the Attorney General here in South Australia as well. And this was from first people speaking out or challenging the reactions to COVID. So this is how it can be weaponized, how the police can be weaponized by government bureaucrats and politicians against people that are questioning them. So, and look, if anybody's interested as well, Bruce also had some issues with the Australian Federal Police in Canberra, spent some time there, but won his court case because he proved and showed them that they lied. They lied under oath as well, and their stories didn't line up, and it was a disgusting case as well. So if anybody wants to check that out, it is on Rumble, treated as an outlaw, cancelled South Australian doctor is vindicated in court. So why am I finishing up with this? Because there's obviously a lot of rhetoric around the fact that they're trying to label everybody that's critical of government in the same boat as someone that's gone and committed an atrocious act. So people that are critical of government, that write to their members of parliament, that challenge the response through COVID, that challenge the coercive measures around medical treatments, that challenge the brutality meted out by police who were weaponized by bureaucrats and politicians, and none more so than those in Victoria. And again, let me reiterate, I do not condone what Mr. Freeman's carried out there, but you can understand why so many people in this country are frustrated when they have a media that spreads the kind of narrative that they do and label people, good, decent Australians and put them in the same pot and for being critical and challenging government for ineptitude and overreach. So anyway, don't let anybody distract you from the 31st. Be peaceful, be kind, be non-violent, be harmonious. If you have to, walk in silence with your flags flapping. But turn up. I'll still be turning up. I won't be, shied away from the narrative that the media wants to paint about people that are critical of government. Don't fall for it. And as mentioned, there's plenty to march for, and I've listed them before. I've shared a video on my channels about listing all these things, all these state-based issues and national issues that people could pick any one of those to choose to go to the rally for. Anyway, I just want to reiterate what I said earlier at the start, is that my heartfelt condolences go out to the families of the police officers killed and injured, as well as the wider policing community who are mourning the loss of those who were tragically killed. As a pacifist and a humanitarian, I do not support violence or murder and condemn comments in social media glorifying the actions of this individual. This update was primarily focused on media reporting and the wider narrative about those having a critical view of Australia's government and bureaucracy. So anyway, I do continue to pray. I pray for the families of all those involved over there, and I pray for the healing of our nation as well. There's so much hurt, and there's a lot of healing to do, and a lot of divisiveness created by our own bureaucrats and politicians, as well as the legacy mainstream media. So farewell out there. Don't be violent. Be peaceful. There may come a time where things become so bad that people have to defend themselves against a tyrannical government. I hope we're not there for a long time. And I pray that we can find some healing, and I pray that we can get some changes in regards to the way that the legacy media reports. But in the meantime, I think we have to rely on alternative media and others to talk into things and uncover things and research things. Anyway, Godspeed. God bless Australia. Take care, everybody.
A door stood open in the sky. I heard a voice like a trumpet cry. Come up here, I'll show you more. And in a flash I saw the Lord around the throne. Thunder rolls, lightning strikes, the heavens glow. 24 elders lay down their crowns. The living creatures shout out loud. He sat on a throne, shining like stone, jasper and ruby, glory alone. A rainbow wrapped around the sea of glass beneath his feet. Four creatures cry both day and night. Holy, holy Lord of might, was and is to come. Their song won't stop till all is done. Around the throne the thunder rolls, lightning strikes, the heavens glow. 24 elders lay down their crowns. The living creatures shout out loud. all glory we will bring. By your will all things were made. Forever worship never fade. Around the throne the thunder rolls. Lightning strikes, the heavens glow. 24 elders lay down their crowns. The living creatures shout out loud.